Here we go. Episode 32 of the Hardline Sports Talk. John Michael Masiri. I am Michael Merlo. Wow, what a big episode we got today. Week 1 is here. First game in the books, and Sunday is looking to be, I don't know what, I'm so happy that Sunday is 2 days away. JM, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm pumped up. I'm going to the game on Sunday in Carolina. Hyped for that. Bought my Zach Wilson jersey here. Really excited for that. And yeah, just glad to have football back. That was a very entertaining game to watch, and great things to take away. Some good, some bad. Good things to take away from it, though.
Yeah, it was very exciting. There are a lot to take away. We're going to get to that right now. We're going to make our picks for this week's games. That's coming up later in the episode. And of course, we have to talk about our two garbage baseball teams who will actually face off against each other this weekend and what is going to be a very emotional series. We're going to get to that in a little bit. Let's start with the game last night, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. We knew somebody that was at the game, our friend Matt, big fan. Shout out to Matt. He said the atmosphere was great and the stadium was very, very nice and the food was good, which I'm kind of surprised. You know, Tampa, you're not really known for the food, no?
I mean, it is a NFL stadium, so I'm not surprised.
I'm surprised. The Buccaneers did beat the Cowboys 31-29. There's a lot of questionable decisions that were made by the Dallas Cowboys and Mike McCarthy, but there was one big thing that is really glaring. There's a big controversy here, and that is, was that an offensive pass interference on Chris Godwin last night, which ended up leading to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers kicking the game-winning field goal?
Right. I don't think so. I think it was borderline. I wouldn't have called it there. At the replay, you saw Godwin give him like that little forearm, but he didn't fully extend the arm. And also on that, like back, I think Chris Collinsworth or someone said it on that back shoulder pass. You know, they usually, those DBs are already back like in a little bit of a unbalanced position, so it's easy for them to fall like that. So it was close, but I think in that situation, I think no call was correct.
I actually completely agree with you. Like Chris Collinsworth had said, and a lot of people had said, came out defending that statement, basically saying the cornerback is already on his heels. And it does, like, he doesn't, like, you can see his arm, like, you can see his hand, but it doesn't go like this. Like, his arm doesn't fully extend.
Right. It was just like a little, like, nudge.
He had to turn around, so he almost, like, moved his hand to turn around. It was almost like what I'm doing here.
Right.
Like, just to get his hands in position, he had to like touch him and scrape him like that. Mm-hmm. And I guess the force, like he said, he was off balance and he felt, I agree. It was a good no call. That was the first time I like kind of felt bad for Cowboy fans. But at the same time, I was like, it was borderline. It happens to everybody. So you know what? Let them cry about it.
I
think it's a loss in division.
I think last night was one of the rare times where a majority of America was rooting for the Cowboys.
I don't know about a majority of America, but more so than usual. Yes,
because I think a lot of people, including myself, despise Tom Brady. I mean, I respect the hell out of the guy, but I just don't like him. He's caused me a lot of pain over the years. But yeah, like, I don't know. I'm not a big Cowboys person in general. I think their fans are unbearable. But I really like Dak, and I'm really rooting for him this year. I hope he has a great year. He's been through a lot between his brother passing away and him breaking his ankle last year and everything. So I'm really hoping that Dak has a really good year and puts the Cowboys on the map again this year. But yeah, it was kind of weird. Like, I saw a lot of people were rooting for the Cowboys, which is, it's just not used to that.
I don't think you got to worry about Dak being back. Dak is back.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy was phenomenal last night.
He looked so confident.
Impressive.
It was like unbelievable. Every throw, he just looked so confident.
Did you notice this, or is this just him, where when he was trying to get out of the pocket, and this isn't a knock against him at all, but when he was trying to get out of the pocket, did you kind of notice it almost felt like his legs were heavy, that he couldn't really get out? Or is that just him in general, like he's not the fastest guy?
I didn't really notice it like that. I think he had plenty of opportunities to get out of the pocket, but I think he's not a Lamar Jackson type or even like a Kyler Murray. Like he's a pass first quarterback and he can make plays with his legs, but I think he chooses to be he wants to be as much of a pocket passer or just a throwing quarterback as possible. So I didn't really see that with like the heavy legs or whatever. Maybe he was shaking a little rust off, but I think he looked fine in terms of speed. And if you look at his stat line, I mean, first of all, the guy threw
I was about to read that.
Yeah, if he threw the ball 60 times and 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, whatever. But that one pick, that's a CD Lamb pick. It was a risky pass. It was a risky pass, but it was a beautiful throw. He threw that right in the perfect window, and CD Lamb just dropped it.
It was right on the money. You're right. It was in CD Lamb's hands. He had a couple of drops, CD Lamb, although he ended up having a really nice game. He had a few key drops. Like you said, Dak went 42 for 58 with 403 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick, a 101.4 pass rating. Guy's back. And I'm not shocked, and people say, oh, he really put himself on the map. He actually put himself on the map last season. Well, with the limited games that he did play, we really started to see this guy become a star. I think, we both had him easily in our top 10. I think you had him 7. I think I had him 8, and that's not a knock against him. But the next step for him is getting into that top 5.
Yeah, I could see him climbing up that ladder easily.
100%. He's really becoming one of the better. I mean, he already is, but he's getting there to being a top 5 quarterback.
Right. He just looked like a top 5. He looked like a 10-year veteran last night. He looked so poised in the pocket and, like I said, confident, and obviously was making some great throws. But I just want to touch back on the CD Lamb thing. He had some drops, but I think we kind of saw in terms of the receivers like a little preview of how the whole entire season is going to go. I think you're going to see CD Lamb have some really explosive plays and big shot plays, whatever you want to call them. But I think at the end of the day, Amari Cooper is the number 1 guy there, and he's going to be getting most of the targets. I think they'll both have great seasons. Like I think they could easily both go over 1,000, 1,100 yards, whatever it is. But I think Cooper's still the number 1 guy there.
100%. He had a nice night for me. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no. And this is why the whole fantasy thing with being in I'm in 4 leagues, and it's good and it's bad because I, like you said, I'm playing you in fantasy this week. You have Amari Cooper. He goes off last night, but I have Amari Cooper in another league, and I'm like, oh, I'm going off in that. So it's like, I'm happy and mad at the same time. So
I hate being in 4 leagues. Thankfully, only 2 of them are, for a prize, but
yeah.
And no punishment. So I'm happy about that. And the other 2 are just, for fun.
Right.
I want to read you a couple of stats about Dak. Dak Prescott has 5,555 yards over his last 17 games. That would break the record in a single season. Peyton Manning has 5,477. And Cowboys offense under Kellen Moore with Dak Prescott, 22 games, 28.5 points per game and 445.2 yards per game. Unbelievable. Yes, they are throwing the ball, and there were a couple of instances where they were down big and all they had to do was throw the ball, but that is still very, very impressive.
Right. Yeah, I think Dak, I believe he had the most 400-yard passing games last year, and he only played 5 games, which just is incredible. But I don't think they're going to be passing the ball 60 times every game. I think people are overreacting in terms of Ezekiel Elliott. And
for your sake, they better not.
Yeah, I think they're overreacting to Ezekiel Elliott in that running game. I mean, they were literally, I was expecting this. They were going up against the best run defense in the NFL by far. They're easily number 1 in every rushing category, the Buccaneers defense. So I think this is a pass-first offense anyways. But I think no Zach Martin and going against the number 1 rush defense, of course, the run game was not going to be what it should be last night.
Connor McGovern, who stepped in for Zach Martin, played pretty well.
Yeah, he did.
So that was a good sign. The Cowboys offensive line, they had a couple of bad holding calls, which almost really screwed them.
Well, Vita Vea was like a man last night. He was blowing up the pocket.
Yeah, he was very good. And like you said, we didn't even talk about the third wide receiver, who I was impressed with almost every time he caught the ball, Michael Gallup.
Yeah.
he could play. He can really play. He's got pretty good hands, and his feet are amazing. Yeah. The way he's able to get he's at the Tony toe taps here, nonstop.
Right.
He was impressive, and the tight ends even played well.
Right.
Jarwin and Schultz.
I think we might have seen the two best receiving corps in the league go up against each other last night.
Oh, you want to talk about receiving? Antonio Brown, who we were both high on in fantasy this year. Mm-hmm. I had saw the report that said, Bruce Arians had basically said he looks like the Antonio Brown from 4 to 5 years ago, and people like us started jumping on him in fantasy, and he stepped up big time in one of my leagues. But if he's gonna look like that, if he's gonna be that guy again, or even close to the guy he was in Pittsburgh, that is dangerous, because even Godwin, aside from the fumble, looked really good. So it's unfair.
It is. Then the Bucs, I mean, they looked great last night. The passing game looked really good. I still don't know how that run game is going to stack up. I mean, we saw Ronald Jones was very limited in terms of his carries. He fumbled. Leonard Fournette got most of the snaps, and then Giovanni Bernard came in a couple third down scenarios and stuff like that. But from what I saw last night, it looks like Fournette's going to be, if you want to pick a number one back, which I don't really think there is one in this system, but technically it is Fournette. I think he'll get the most snaps out of all those guys.
They were saying Giovanni Bernard is almost like the James White with the Patriots. So yeah, we'll see. They had a couple of who dropped that pass, which ended up being an interception. That was Fournette, correct?
Yes.
So yeah, and then Diggs was right there, or I think it was Diggs who was right there. He ended up picking off and giving the Cowboys great field position. They ended up scoring. That was in the second quarter. So I still agree with you. I think Fournette will be the lead guy there, but they're going to use everybody. Yeah, it's going to be very situational. Fantasy wise, I wouldn't really bank on one of those guys being insane unless definitely an injury happened.
Right, definitely not.
So it was definitely a great start to the year. It was a perfect start to the year.
It was a good game. I think the Cowboys proved that they're here to be a good competitive team this year. I mean, they just took the defending Super Bowl champions to a last second game winning field goal on the road. So
that defense, though, like the Bucs didn't have control.
It didn't look bad last night. It didn't look great. It didn't look great, but it didn't look bad. Especially
Tampa did whatever they wanted.
DeMarcus Lawrence looked good. The pass rush, Randy Gregory looked pretty good. Micah Parsons looked good. Like we said, Diggs did a great job against Mike Evans. I mean, he was basically irrelevant, Mike Evans. So I don't think that defense is going to be anything special, but I also don't think it'll be as bad as it was last year. I think Dan Quinn's going to help out, and some guys they brought in this offseason will help it out a bit.
I don't think it's going to be as bad as last year. I mean, for them, I hope it's not.
Yeah,
it was one of the worst defenses ever. But I don't know. They got that. I mean, they forced turnovers, which is nice. If they could continue to force turnovers, they're going to put themselves in good spots. They're going to put the offense in good spots, and they won't have to the other team could score a little bit. But as long as you're scoring and creating those turnovers, okay. But I felt like Tampa was carving them up last night. Brady was doing whatever he wanted. The time of possession was very, very lopsided. The Cowboys had the ball much longer. So if Tampa had the ball more, if they didn't turn the ball over 4 times, I think that's a different game. But listen, if that's going to be Dallas's style, where they are good at creating turnovers, then yeah, they're not that bad. But I don't know how many turnovers they're actually. They can't bank on turning the ball. Having the other team turn the ball over 4 times a game.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they're going to force some turnovers, but at the end of the day, it's all about, not letting your opponent drive down the field on you. So yeah, you're right. You can't bank on those turnovers. But like I said, I think we saw some good things. I think Micah Parsons is going to be really good for them. Van Der Esch is healthy, and hopefully he has a good season for them. And they have some really good linebackers, like we said. DeMarcus Lawrence as an edge rusher is really good.
He looked really good. You're right. He looked really good last night.
Yeah,
like his old self.
And I'm looking forward on the offensive end to see when Zach Martin comes back and they go up against not the best run defense in the league, and see how the offense changes.
They tried running the ball in the beginning a little bit.
Yeah,
they would give it either hand it off to Zeke and Tony Pollard, and nothing was there. And I guess that they realized that.
Right.
But the play action was working great, so that they stuck to it. I think Kellen Moore ended up doing a nice job last night. Honestly, I think Mike
Yeah.
McCarthy had some issues with some decisions that he made, but
I didn't hate that that field goal at the end of the half. I don't think was that bad. I mean, I get it's a 60-yarder, but I mean, Greg Zuerlein's got the leg to make that, and also the Buccaneers didn't have any timeouts, so it's not like you're gonna miss it and they're gonna get it. They got 3 timeouts left, and they could easily go get it. They didn't even score, did they? The Bucs after that.
they didn't score there. They ended up going whatever. I 3 and out.
Yeah,
But I mean, it was 17 seconds. You literally needed a first down or 12, 15 yards.
Right.
And you were right there. I don't know. I didn't like that. Considering
it's a little aggressive. At that point you might just be like, let's just punt it away. And
if Zuerlein was having a better game up to that point, and he ended up finishing nicely, but he may have costed them. You don't know for sure if he would have cost them that game. But,
right. Well, that field goal, that 30-something yard field goal or whatever he missed in the first half, ended up costing them. Obviously, they lost by 2 points. So
yeah, but you don't know how that game would have went.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean,
you don't know if they lose, if he makes that, do they lose by 2?
Right.
So I mean, yeah, it looks like it, but we don't know for sure. But if Zuerlein was having a better game, I'd say trot him out there. You're right. He has the track record. He could hit a 60-yarder, but I don't know. At that point, I didn't like the decision. I would have punted it away.
Yeah, I didn't hate it, like I said, but I get both sides of it. I probably would have punted, but I don't think it's like something where you could be like, oh, what the hell is Mike McCarthy doing? I mean, I saw some people, including like my brother, who's a Packers fan and hates Mike McCarthy, saying like, oh, this is such a Mike McCarthy moment. Like, okay, they don't have any timeouts. They're not going to relax. If that was with a minute left in the second half, then yeah, that's an idiotic decision. But 15 seconds and no timeouts for the Buccaneers. And look what happened. They didn't score anyway. So
yeah, they gave themselves a shot to get 3 more points, and
right,
they didn't get it.
And he got close.
It was pretty close.
But it was decently close.
Yeah. So it was a great game. I was very happy with the first game, and there's a lot to get to now, because everybody else plays on Sunday except for the Raiders and Ravens, but everybody else is playing. We're going to get to the Ravens in a little bit. They had a lot of injuries. We also have a voicemail about the Ravens, so excited for that as well. Okay. But let's start here quick. The Colts are going to be with their starting quarterback, Carson Wentz. He is going to start. It's looked like he's going to start for a while now. The injury that he had, it was some weird foot injury. They gave a 5 to 12 week timetable on it, and the same thing went for Quentin Nelson, the guard. Quentin Nelson's fully healed from the foot injury as well. The only thing he's dealing with is now back spasms, but he's probably going to play Sunday. Wentz is going to play Sunday, so the Colts will be with their starting quarterback.
All right, yeah, they're full go. They are playing the Seahawks, right?
They're at home against the Seahawks. Yeah, you were lagging there a little bit. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, they're playing the Seahawks. Should be a good game. I think I want to see how this Colts offense goes about itself. I mean, obviously a lot of things to look forward to, especially the quarterback. Let's see what happens with Jonathan Taylor here. There's been, he came, Naeem Hines is there and Marlon Mack's back now. So is it going to be Jonathan Taylor getting 20, 25 carries a game, or is it going to turn into a bit of a committee where his touches get hindered? And I want to see how these receivers do. I want to see how Michael Pittman plays with Carson Wentz. I think he's got some good upside. He was a draft pick last year. I think he was a second-round pick. Guys like T.Y. Hilton, how much has he got left in the tank? And I think the Colts are a bit of they're interesting, but they're also boring at the same time.
You know how I felt about the Colts a month ago. I'm down on the Colts, as we saw from my predictions. But it wouldn't surprise me if they made the playoffs, if they won that division. I think it's between the Titans and the Colts, obviously. And it wouldn't surprise me if either one of them won it. But it's going to be Jonathan Taylor's backfield. I mean, he's the clearly the most talented running back.
I agree. I just want to see I don't think Jonathan Taylor's going to have 10 carries and Marlon Mack's going to have 10 carries. I just want to see how many touches is Nyheim Hines in third down situations, and is he getting touches taken away from him because Marlon Mack, they give him a couple more carries and whatever. But I think the majority is going to be obviously Jonathan Taylor's backfield. The reason why I say this team is interesting yet boring is because I'm interested to see how Carson Wentz does. And, he's back with Frank Reich and everything like that. But I think they're also boring because I think the style of football that they're going to be playing isn't going to be very entertaining. I think it's going to be a run-heavy offense, not like one of these high-powered Cowboys offenses or a Chiefs offense or something like that where they're airing it out and stuff like that. And I think it's going to be a run-heavy offense, and then they have a very good defense. So not a lot of, and they don't have a lot of flashy weapons besides Taylor. You have Michael Pittman and T.Y. Hilton, like I said, and I believe Zach Pascal is still with the team. And that's nothing to look twice at. So, interesting. I'm interested to see how Carson Wentz does, but I don't expect this offense to be anything crazy.
No, I agree with you. It's going to be kind of like I think it's kind of going to be what we saw in Philadelphia with Frank Reich and Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
They might score a lot of points, but it might not be fun. So
right.
I'm very interested to see what happens over there. They're one of the more interesting teams to me in the NFL for sure. And I want to stay in the AFC because I was just when we were driving home just now, I was listening to Pat McAfee show. And honestly, he's interesting. He's entertaining. During the NFL season, you can't, when baseball's going on, you can't really listen.
Right.
But when during the NFL, he is very interesting. And they actually just had Brandon Staley on, the rookie head coach from the Chargers. And it's crazy that, Anthony Lynn was so bad last year, especially situationally. There's a chance that Staley's taking over a 10-win roster,
right.
Just because of how bad the coaching was.
Right.
So I'm looking at them and their schedules. I don't think their schedule is easy. And obviously they play the Chiefs twice a year, which isn't, great. But I think they're going to – it wouldn't shock me if they went on a run there.
I mean, that schedule's – it's not easy, but it's not hard either. It's not that tough of a schedule for the Chargers. But I think with Anthony Lynn, like you just said – like we talk about with the Jets or any other team that's having a coach that just was fired. How do we assess that roster? Because bad coaching can bring a roster down. So we don't really know how talented a team is. And I think it all starts with the quarterback. The Chargers have one, a really good one.
Really good one.
I mean, the whole Chargers team dynamic, the way it's gone over the last couple of years is a bit confusing. I mean, they were in the playoffs. They went 11-5 or 12-4 that one year, lost to the Patriots in Foxborough. And then they just all of a sudden kind of fell off a cliff. And obviously Phillip Rivers aging didn't help that, but it really shouldn't have happened in the quick way that it did, especially when you look at what their roster was like. And last year they lost a lot of tough games.
A lot of really, really close games.
Really close games. So maybe a new coach and a new energy in the building it swings those games into wins. So yeah, you're right. This could be a 10-win roster that Staley's taking over. And we wouldn't have any idea. So I'm really interested in this Chargers team. I think that offense is going to be electric. And I think the defense is a little bit more of a question mark. The offensive line wasn't that great last year, but they got Corey Linsley from the Packers. They also drafted why am I drawing a blank? The tackle from Rashawn Slater from North.
Rashawn Slater, who should be a New York Giant.
Yeah. So yeah, but let's see how that defense plays. They got Derwin James back, which is huge. He hasn't been healthy the last 2 seasons, and we've seen when he is healthy, he's one of the better safeties in the NFL. So
100%.
Yeah, definitely interested in the Chargers this year.
I know I'm going around the league here. There is a lot to get to. So again, very excited with the Chargers. TJ Watt signed an extension with 4 years, $112 million with $80 million guaranteed. He's one of the best defensive players in football, one of the best pass rushers in football. So that is very well deserved. The Steelers lately, the Steelers are a very interesting organization because if you deserve that contract, like Minka Fitzpatrick, guys like if you deserve that contract, they take care of you. They know they know who to bring back. They knew not to bring back Bell. What happened? They knew not to bring back Brown, and Brown's been, slightly successful elsewhere, but he's just such a distraction. You could find that production elsewhere. So they do know they are a very smart organization, and good for TJ Watt. He absolutely deserves it.
Right. And yeah, even with Brown, look at that receiver room now. You think they're really missing Brown that much right now? I mean, you got Deontay Johnson, Claypool, and Juju. There's not a clear cut number one there right now, but those are all some definitely above average good NFL players. So yeah, you're right. I mean, the Le'Veon Bell, I can't believe that this guy signed 2 years ago with the Jets, and now he's getting signed to practice squads. It really is crazy. You think he regrets not taking that deal with the Steelers originally?
Whatever the deal was.
Yeah.
And honestly, really,
I think it was he signed a 4-year, like $52 million contract with the Jets. And I believe the contract that the Steelers offered him was 5 years, but it was just less average annual value. And he did not want to do it. So
you would think the security, especially with the 5 years,
especially when you're a running back. Yeah, but
exactly. And honestly, I think you would have had a couple more good years there behind that offensive line and that offense, but definitely not now. He's done. He's washed up. So, and also I think taking a year off really hurt him.
Right. 100%.
So I'm definitely good for TJ Watt. I'm going around the league. I know, but this is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley is back. This is new from Joe Judge. He's back with no setbacks. No, he had no setbacks, and there's no pitch count on him. He is good to go for Sunday against the Denver Broncos, which is a big boost for his quarterback because statistically he plays much better when Saquon's there than when he's not.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see how this line blocks for him. Got to protect him, and yeah.
I got to pit my stomach just thinking about watching that game with that Denver defense. I'm very, very
then
nervous.
that is one thing. You got Bradley Chubb and you got Von Miller coming off the edge. Protecting Daniel Jones is going to be tough. And yeah, you're right. They in the run game, the Broncos have some really good linebackers. I wonder how the Giants are going to handle getting to the second level and blocking like that and trying to get Saquon, some big chunk plays. It's going to be tough. But I think this is a big test for them, and let's see how they handle it.
It's a big test right out of the gate. You got Denver, and then 4 days later, you go to Washington and play Thursday night. So you're gonna play probably two top 5 defenses.
Yeah.
So listen, yeah, you're right. It's a big test right out of the gate for the New York Giants, and let's see, because it all lies on the offensive line and the quarterback. If the offensive line plays well, I believe the quarterback is going to be able to take that next step. If they don't, that's it.
Right. I don't know if I call Denver a top 5 defense, by the way.
They're right
good.
there.
They're good.
They're right there. They're underrated. They're underrated.
Yeah.
We want to go through the top 5 defenses right now?
Oh, I mean, sure. It was off the top of my head. I think the Rams are better. I think the Niners are better. I think the
Washington football team is
better.
better.
Bucks are better. I think the Browns are better. There's 5.
Steelers. Yeah, I would take the Rams out of there. I don't think the Rams are better.
I think the Dolphins have a damn good defense, and I think the if they have a lot of question marks because of the opt-outs last year, but if everybody's playing the way they did in 2019, I think the Patriots are better.
All right, fine, top 7, but I'll stick with.
That's fine. I'm not going to rip you apart for it. But
they're very underrated. They have a good secondary.
They have Justin Simmons, who is probably one of the most underrated. I think he's getting his recognition now, but still not there. He's one of the most underrated safeties in the league. And then, they have what the hell's that guy's first name? The Jewel guy, 45 linebacker, whatever his name is. He's pretty good.
Forgot.
Yeah.
They signed a corner too. I'm forgetting his name. They brought in Surtain, and they signed a corner. Who did they sign? I think from the Bears they got him from.
Bryce Callahan?
No.
Hold on.
I forget. I'd have to look it up for me.
I'm looking up their defensive depth chart.
Talk about the Denver Broncos
defense.
Yeah, it's gonna rip apart the New York Giants. I think it's gonna be a low scoring game though.
When we get to our picks later, I'll tell you how I feel about this game. But Yeah, I agree. I don't think this is definitely not gonna be a shootout. But I think in the NFL, you're gonna see. I don't know if you're gonna see defenses are ahead of offense. I think you're gonna see the offenses are ahead of the defenses, actually.
Why do you say that?
I think that's just how it naturally happens. I mean, we saw it last year. I think it just takes longer for defenses to kind of catch up. All right, here we go. Am I freezing up?
You were actually a little bit, but you're
Because
fine.
I can't go online because this computer's so friggin' slow, man. This is my stupid rental that my school gave me because my computer is currently in the shop. All right, I X'd out of it. It was Josie Jewell, and they also have that guy Alexander Johnson, who's a really good linebacker too. So they got some good linebackers there in Denver. But I did not find out about that corner for you because, like I said, my computer sucks.
Okay, so I'll look it up because you're just a genius.
Yeah. Okay.
The Giants will take care of the linebackers. I'm not worried.
All right, let's move on. We're taking too much time on the Denver Broncos here.
Yeah.
Find out that corner and let's go.
What? There was one more thing. Oh, so we got some news with Cam Newton here too. I really want to get to this because this is funny. So Cam Newton went on his YouTube channel, I think, this morning and said one of the reasons why, and the biggest reason why he is not in New England anymore is because, and quote, the reason why they released me is because indirectly I was going to be a distraction.
So you mean because of the COVID or because of his personality?
I think I'm a lot of both. They were going to Jones. They knew they wanted to go to Jones. So I think partly the COVID, but partly, they didn't want him sitting right behind Jones.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably what it tells me. Just with Mac Jones and when are they going to hand over the reins and blah, blah, blah.
They don't need that. You don't need that distraction.
Right.
100%.
I don't think Cam Newton gets signed until somebody goes down.
Agreed. Actually, I don't know. Kyle Fuller. I'm such an idiot.
Yeah, he's good.
Kyle Fuller. Yeah.
Brother is better.
I agree. Though. What?
Isn't his brother better? The one in Washington, Kendall Fuller.
I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about? When somebody goes down, it depends on that team. It depends on that team, though. Him not being vaccinated is a problem. It is a problem because a team is not going to take that risk and bring him in and then him possibly get COVID, and then that's it. The whole quarterback room goes down, and possibly a lot of players on that team go down. It's not worth it. And the Colts have the same issue with Carson Wentz, and the Vikings have the same issue with Kirk Cousins. It's just a problem. These guys should just get the shot so that their teams, you can put your team in such a better position.
So do the Vikings have like a thing, or the Colts, whoever, where Kirk Cousins and Davis Mills go in like separate rooms or something? So just in case there is an instance where a COVID outbreak happens, they won't have their entire quarterback room wiped out?
I mean, that would make the most sense, but again, I don't know. They have to be on the field together, so
yeah.
I honestly, if they're on the field together and they're practicing together, I doubt it. If they're gonna get it, you're gonna, that guy.
That is a really tough scenario because, like you said, it's not like, oh well, it's not that risky. It's just Kirk Cousins can't get COVID. That's not true. If someone else gets COVID, then they'd be like, oh, Kirk was in contact, and then all of a sudden it just turns into an absolute shit show, basically.
Exactly. If one of the wide receivers tests positive and he was right next to, they have the contract tracing devices. So if they find out that Cousins was near that guy, Cousins is out until he tests negative. So, and there's no timetable for that. You could be out for 2 weeks. You could be out 2 days. They don't know.
I mean, you remember last year there were instances. I think Lamar went through it. No, right? Lamar was out for a couple of weeks because of COVID tracing.
Do you want to hear something crazy?
Sure.
Do you know why? You remember when that happened to the Broncos and their quarterback room went down?
Mm.
Do you know why they didn't postpone the game or anything?
No.
It came out. There's an article in the LA Times. I didn't get to it about all the secret things that happened with COVID and the plans that they had if this went down or with the NFL. they said because the Broncos quarterbacks, they took their tracers and like threw them out or whatever, like put them in like a different room, and then went on and did whatever they wanted to do, and then they ended up finding those tracers because they had a camera in the room. So they did it on purpose. Then the COVID thing happened, and then they were like, "You broke the rules. Good luck against the Saints." And they ended up getting killed. But
Wow,
yeah, that was the reason why. I have to read the article. I bookmarked it on Twitter.
that is crazy.
I'll
Yeah, that's when they started Kendall Hinton or whatever that guy's name was, wide receiver.
Yep, yeah, that was something. I'm happy at least this year it'll be a little more normal, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. I mean, I hope so. I mean, we got fans back, which is great. I remember I was watching clips the other day, just like a highlight thing, just trying to get excited for the season or whatever. And so weird with football. Football was I don't know. Baseball and football
was
were
the worst
toss-up
because you could see it.
Yeah,
football,
no, but even with football, they did a pretty good job. But even with football, like they showed some clips of like towards the end, like when they would get in the end zone or something, and then it was just like empty. And I was like, oof, it was brutal.
It really was brutal.
Baseball was bad though. When they're hitting home runs and landing in empty seats, it's like Jesus.
No, it was so depressing. I'm looking for a notification I got because here we go. This has to be I should have brought this up when we were talking about the Cowboys and Bucks. But the Cowboys and Bucks viewership ratings for Thursday night's NFL opener were NBC's highest in 5 years, up 16% from 2020. Now, I think obviously that has to do with Tom Brady and America's team in that game. But I think also the fan part. I think a lot of people were turned off with no fans last year. It felt different. It might have felt, almost fake. So I think that you're going to see viewership all around be up big time this year.
Oh yeah, I'm all for it.
Except the Super Bowl last year, I think they were going to get the biggest number they possibly could with the two teams playing, the players,
and everybody being just starving to get back at a football game, and then
and Tampa was basically filled. So
yeah.
But so that's a good number right there. That's definitely a good number for the NFL. College football, more people watch Georgia Clemson than 5 out of the 6 NBA final games.
That's weird. I remember they were coming out with numbers for the NBA finals, and it really is weird the way the numbers are really down. And I don't know if it was because it was Bucks Suns or what, but they really didn't do great this year, the NBA. And they're usually like right there, not right there, but football is always dominating. But with the MLB, they're right there, and I'm surprised.
MLB has beaten them the past couple of years. Since COVID started.
It's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of a stigma, this whole thing, where like the MLB is like in such bad shape and stuff like this. Like the NBA is not much better, if not worse, than the MLB. And it's not like they're not all in bad states either.
They're not in bad shape. I mean, baseball's got their own issues,
right?
But ratings wise, especially this season, Major League Baseball's actually done a good job with their ratings.
You know why?
Their big time demographic of the younger kids, they're actually getting kids to watch baseball.
Right,
so far this
right.
season.
Because LeBron versus Mike Trout, sure, LeBron blows him out of the water, but MLB versus NBA, it's not much. It's just people associate teams with the MLB more than in the NBA, people associate players.
And yeah, it's a marketing issue, I guess, but at the same time.
But is it? Because I get that the MLB players should be marketed more, and I think they're doing a better job of it. At least, I don't know. I can't tell because I'm a diehard baseball fan. So of course I know Shohei Ohtani and Fernando Tatis and how big those guys are.
We know too many baseball players.
Does the average Joe know who he is? I still don't know. But at the same time, you go up to somebody on the street, you say, "Who's LeBron James?" They'll be, "Oh, I know who LeBron James is." But you go, "Oh, who's the team the NBA team located in Minnesota?" They're going to have no idea. I feel like people can name more MLB teams than people can name NBA teams.
There's more casual NBA fans, which is like more of a number. But there's more diehard Major League Baseball fans. I understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. But yeah, the NFL is going to dominate. NFL dominates every aspect of TV, prime time, whatever it is. They dominate that.
And of course, they're going to naturally because there's only 16 games in a season. If there were 162 NFL games, I'm sure it wouldn't be as much of a gap in terms of viewership per game.
Yeah, you'd also have people dead.
Yeah.
Your Jets open up in Carolina. You are going to be there. It's going to be an interesting game.
It is.
I don't know what to make of Sam Darnold, in Carolina. I was talking with your brother before. I think that him being, with better coaches like Matt Rule and Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, that's going to be a really good situation for him. But the offensive line might be a little sketchy there, and he does have better weapons. But still, he's still got to go out there and execute. So we'll see what happens. I'm still big question mark with him.
I don't know what you're going to expect from him. In what sort of role are they going to be airing it out right away? I mean, McCaffrey's back. I'm expecting him to obviously have a pretty big game on Sunday. Let's see how the Jets counter him. But yeah, like he's got plenty of weapons. The offensive line is not good. That's the only thing. It's not a good offensive line in Carolina. But he definitely has better weapons than he had when he was with the Jets. But yeah, I don't know. It's the style of offense they're going to be running and how much freedom they're going to give Darnold. I really don't know. He's a massive question. He's like a rookie quarterback again. Like it's just a massive question mark.
100%. And your rookie quarterback is going to be making his first start. You must be. So you're going to see him 2 straight weeks, which is pretty cool in person. I'm really excited to see what he does. I don't know what style. I don't know how this offense is going to be, but it's quarterback friendly. That's the Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan type system. So I think Wilson will thrive in this. Kyle Shanahan wanted Wilson badly because he thought he could run that offense perfectly. So I think it's going to work. But week 1, you're looking for the opposite of what you had in the last regime.
Right. I think that you're going to see the Jets are going to try and establish a run game early in this game. That's kind of the style they want to run, like they do in San Francisco. It's the same thing. They want to run, and then the run game gets going. That opens up the play action and everything like that. So, in terms of what running backs are going to use, we don't know. Tevin Coleman's apparently the RB1 on the depth chart. Which kind of makes sense because they signed him. He's been in that system before. He was obviously with San Francisco. And then before that, he was in Atlanta with Kyle Shanahan as well. But
it all ties back to each other.
Yeah, it is. We really are like the New York 49ers. It would be nice if we had the same roster as them. But yeah. So I don't know. I'm expecting a good game. And I'm very excited, obviously. Zach Wilson's the biggest excitement here.
Yeah, 100%. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. We got to talk about the Subway Series, and we're gonna make our picks for this week.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to the voicemail as well.
Oh, do you want to do the voicemail now?
Yeah, we can do the voicemail now
because we actually forgot to talk about the Ravens.
Right
after I said, "Don't worry, I'll work the Ravens in."
Right.
Okay, so let's do the Ravens very quickly. I don't know how do you explain what is going on there? It almost feels like the 49ers last year.
A little bit of breaking news, just real quick. Actually, not really. The Lakers just traded Marc Gasol and a 2nd-round pick to the Grizzlies for some draft pick that I've never heard of. But anyway,
I'm sure ESPN will have this as breaking news.
Oh yeah, this is going to be like the biggest story ever. But
yeah, they can talk about this for weeks.
What? Just one more time? What'd you say about the Ravens? Something about the 49ers or something? Is that what I heard you say?
These injuries to I didn't get a haircut. These Ravens, these injuries, it kind of seems like the 49ers last year where everybody went down. Everybody was tearing their ACL.
Right.
And, Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, Marcus. The fact that Gus Edwards and Marcus Peters back-to-back plays tear their ACL.
Right.
That is unbelievable. So that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, you know how high I am on the Ravens. I mean, I picked them to win it all in our last episode.
Right.
But, I mean, at this point, like, do I take that back? I mean, this is bad. I think running back is a replaceable position, but not when you lose 3 of them. I mean, damn.
I'm not going to lie to you. they'll be able to run the ball.
They will be.
Fine.
I think they'll for sure still be a top 5 rushing offense. I mean,
I think Murray's going to be the guy.
Yeah,
at all those three.
With the threat of Lamar, and that offensive line, I think they'll be just fine. But Marcus Peters is a big blow. I mean,
That's the one I'm worried about.
They have a really good secondary. Marlon Humphrey's the number 1 guy there, but still, Marcus Peters is a great player for that defense. So, yeah, I mean, it's how many injuries can this team take right now?
I don't know. The last few days, honestly, I've been thinking about taking my Ravens pick back and going to the Browns. And now this like solidifies it, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stick with the Ravens winning the division. But I don't know. The Browns are sneaking up on me here. I think they're a sneaky Super Bowl team if Baker can put it all together.
Yeah, I think it all depends on Baker. I think if Baker has a great year, then for sure.
Want to play the voicemail?
Yeah. Just give me 1 second.
What's going on, Jam and Merlot? It's John here. I just want to see your guys' opinions on the Ravens run situation now that Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins are both out. They signed Le'Veon Bell, Devonta Freeman. What do you think is going to happen with this team this year?
Yeah, thanks for the voicemail, John. I think, again, like I said, I think the offensive line is good enough. I think Lamar is enough of a threat where whoever's running the ball, they're going to be fine. You know how I feel about running backs, JM. I think they're very replaceable. And, Dobbins and Gus are good, but you're not talking about guys that are studs,
right.
like superstars. You're talking about, good running backs.
Right.
I think Murray and, Tyson Williams and Bell, and actually I don't think Bell, Devonta Freeman, they will get the job done 100%. I think they'll be fine offensively.
Right. Yeah. I think it's, obviously, it's brutal, especially with J.K. Dobbins. I mean, that's a guy they spent a decently high draft pick on last year. But yeah, I think they'll be fine. Like we said, the offensive line, Lamar, they'll be okay with that. But yeah, I think Marcus Peters is really the problem here. They really can't take another blow to that defense. I mean, that's tough, especially when you're a run-heavy offense like that and you like to drain the clock out and stuff like that. Those teams are going to try and answer back with scoring quickly and airing the ball out. And not having your number 2 corner is tough. But, yeah, I think the running game will be fine. John Harbaugh is a good coach, too, good play caller. So, yeah, I think it'll be okay.
Sucks to see guys go down on the offensive side of the ball, but I'm really not worried about that. Like, I think Murray's going to do the job.
If it was 2015, this is like the best running back room we've ever seen.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, Devonta Freeman's running free for the Falcons. Le'Veon's like the best running back in the league. Even Latavius Murray, I don't know if he was with the Raiders
he with Baltimore?
No, he was with the Raiders.
He was never with Baltimore?
No, before that, he was he wasn't a Cowboy. I'm thinking of DeMarco Murray now.
Oh, look at you using the brain. Yeah.
Okay, take it easy. Wow, where was Latavius Murray before this? I should know this.
I thought he was with Baltimore.
Oh, he was with the Raiders. Then he was with the Raiders in 2015, yes. But then he went to Minnesota.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking purple. Yeah. They're too purple.
He had 1,000 yards in 2015.
He's a really good player.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I think he led the league last year in yards per attempt.
Oh, he was great with those couple games that Kamara was out. He was really good, like 2 years ago or whatever that was.
Yeah, so I think Murray's the guy. Fantasy wise, couldn't grab him in any of my big leagues, but he's the guy you want. All right, let's take a quick break. We got some baseball to do and our picks coming up after this. Here we go back, episode 32, Hardline Sports Talk. Michael Merlot, John Michael Masiri. Let's talk some baseball. The Subway Series is coming up this weekend. We're so excited. I can't tell you the level of excitement.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I can't wait. Yay.
These both suck.
The Mets get to play baseball. Yay. No, but all seriousness, not looking forward to it. Yankee fans think they'll get swept. The Mets fans think they're going to get swept. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen.
I'm not expecting good things, and I'm sure you're not either. So
no, exactly. I honestly believe the Yankees are going to come here and take 2 out of 3. But that'll be my prediction. Let's start with the Yankees, who just got swept at home, 4-game series by the Toronto Blue Jays. Not good. The Blue Jays now are a half game back. This was a massive series for them. I'm not surprised. All right, I'm not surprised the Blue Jays are making a run here because I thought they would be one of the wild card teams, after the deadline. But I am surprised that they came in here and swept the Yankees. They had a really great weekend against the A's. Did they sweep the A's?
They
have a 7-game winning streak.
Yeah, they did. They're on an 8-game win streak. I think they're 9-1 their last 10.
They're on an 8-game winning streak. That's just, again, I thought they would end up being that wild card team, but not like this.
Not like this, no.
2 teams in front of them, and they're about to pass everybody.
Right. Just a historically bad series for the Yankees, getting swept at home 4 games, and they actually, it's the first time since 1908 where they were swept at home and did not hold a lead the entire series.
Holy crap.
They were down in every single game.
That is historic.
And I don't know. For some reason, Andrew Heaney's still on this roster and still pitching in somewhat important situations. He came in and just said, "Here you go, Vlad Guerrero. Just I'll put it on a tee right here for you and just hit it 450 feet or whatever." But not good. And the Blue Jays are really good. That offense is so good. Vladdy is really making it tough for Shohei Ohtani right now. I'll tell you that. He's starting to kind of convince me. And I thought this race was not even close. And Ohtani's numbers are dipping a little bit, and Vladdy's are still going up. He's still got a chance at this Triple Crown. His OPS is, I think, over 1,000 again. So
if he gets the Triple Crown, do you think he should be?
I don't think that's necessarily the criteria where I would be like, I think if he finishes with, almost 50 homers and his OPS is in like 1,050, let's say, and it's like over 100 points higher than Ohtani's, then it's going to be really close.
You want me to read Vlad's numbers for you?
Yeah. Refresh.
He's got, okay, so I don't know if this means anything to you. He leads the league in runs and hits. Okay, 107 runs, 165 hits. He's got 42 home runs, 100 RBIs. For whatever reason, he has 4 stolen bases. He's batting .319, which leads the league. He's got a .409 on base, which leads the league, and a .607 slugging with a 1,016 OPS, which also leads the league, and a 171 OPS plus, which leads the league as well.
Yes, those are some damn impressive numbers.
He has been that good. Robbie Ray also is making a case for the Cy Young. Garrett Cole goes down, which was not good at all. But I was listening to an interview yesterday with the manager, Aaron Boone. He says he should only be down a couple of days. He was supposed to pitch Sunday. He's not going to do that. Thank you, by the way. He's going to pitch Tuesday instead against the Orioles.
All right.
As of right now, but they're still monitoring it.
Definitely held my breath when he got taken out of the game. And then if you go on to the others, I really don't. I mean, it's our duty to talk about this team, but it is what it is right now. That it's the whole season they've just been up and down, the New York Yankees.
It's crazy. They've had runs where they started off the year bad, where they go like 35-12, and then they went on another bad stretch. Yeah. And they had the 13-game winning streak, whatever it was, and they were playing well before that, and now. I
actually saw something funny that was like saying that the Yankees are so streaky this year, and they're having a terrible stretch right now. And someone was like, "Oh, so this means a win streak is coming soon." I'm like, "Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe for the postseason."
Yeah, if we get there. I mean, we're hanging on by a thread right now.
The team you're chasing, the team that's in front of you, the Boston Red Sox, have been decimated by COVID-19.
Right.
They got more bad news today with Chris Sale, that he tested positive for COVID. And, Hunter Renfroe didn't make matters better yesterday when he went on 93.7 WEEI yesterday, the radio station up there in Boston, and basically said, Major League Baseball told us to stop testing for COVID so that there wouldn't be that many cases. And then, of course, the Red Sox and Major League Baseball to come out and make a statement saying he is completely wrong. That is not true. But not good over there in Boston. They're staying afloat, but they're one of the least vaccinated teams, which puts them in a really bad spot, especially down the stretch here.
Right. Yeah, Red Sox. I mean, congratulations to the Tampa Bay Rays on winning the AL East. I think we can say that at this point. I mean, they're 9.5 games up on the second place team.
What's the magic number?
It's probably ticking down right now. I mean, it's definitely in the single digits if I had to guess.
Yeah, they should put that on. I haven't used my computer at all except for this. So maybe open up.
But we were talking about MVPs before. The NL is very interesting also, and I think Bryce Harper's like really making a strong case right now. I mean, the guy's batting 340 something over his last. I don't even know. It might actually be higher than that, but his OPS is over 1,000 right now. It's
really interesting because I looked and he has 30 home runs and 69 RBIs. He's batting 305. He's gotten 1,019 OPS. He's having an incredible year.
Right.
But he didn't play that many games. I'm like, all right, well, the home runs, whatever, the RBI, same thing. Everything else is so great. He's been carrying this team. I think he should get it. But then I look and I'm comparing the numbers to Tatis. And I look at Tatis, and he's played 11 games less than Harper.
Right.
And he's got more home runs, more RBIs, and the OPS is right there. So it's like, I really don't know where to go.
Yeah, but then at the same time, like Harper's leading in OPS, and he's got a higher OPS plus, but Tatis does have the WAR and everything like that. So, I mean, I think Max Muncy makes a strong case even. I think he's kind of an underrated candidate.
He's an underrated candidate. I don't know if I could put him in the discussion.
I don't think he's gonna get it. What about Freddie Freeman?
Freddie Freeman's
he slowed down a little bit. He's got some respectable numbers, but
he was catching up though.
Yeah, he was.
It looked like for a little while he could get right back into that race and possibly go back to back. No, he's not even close, to be honest with you.
If I can make a little power ranking, I would say it's Tatis 1 right now, just in hitters. I don't even want to get pitchers involved because it gets like messy. Tatis is 1. I want to give Harper 2, but Soto's having a really good season. I might put Soto 2.
Not Soto.
So yeah, Soto 2, Harper 2, either or, and then obviously they're 2 and 3, Soto and Harper.
Soto has 25 home runs, 82 RBIs. He leads the league in walks, no problem. He's only played in 129 games. What else we got here? 305 batting average, and I know you don't care about batting average. Leads the league in on base. What's new? 452. He's got a 973 OPS with a 168 OPS.
He's got good WAR numbers too.
Yeah, he's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Your brother just distracted me because I clicked on something.
Yeah, I know. I saw a stupid text.
And I lost the screen. I was on 5.6 WAR. Yeah, you could definitely put Soto in the conversation. So that's going to come down to the wire there. Right. The Yankees here, though, quickly, they just like there's nothing they have to do other than win because, it's not like they're chasing anybody as of right now. So you go into it. You got to take every series from here on out and, just hope the Blue Jays don't lose another game.
Well, this is the thing I just don't get. Why does it have to be so streaky? And I'm not even like, obviously I'm talking about their wins and losses and everything like that, but it goes hand in hand with like the offense and how the team's playing. This offense can't hit water if they fell out of a boat right now. Meanwhile, over that 13 game streak, they were like hitting the cover off the ball. I don't get it. Aaron Judge had a terrible week. His OPS was 930 at the beginning of the week. Now it's down to like 895 over a 7-game stretch, which is like incredible. So yeah, I just don't get the inconsistency and everything like that. And
with everybody though, it's 9-10. Calm down.
I wonder if this a week from now we could be talking about again oh, the Yankees are 3 games up in the wild card, and what a great week. And is this team going to the World Series and blah, blah, blah. But if I'm just going to react how the team's playing right now, if they miss the playoffs, are we back on the is Aaron Boone getting fired thing?
Well,
I don't think his job is safe still.
His job's not safe because guess what? Has a contract extension been handed out?
Nope.
No, he's a free agent after this year, technically. So, he's not under contract.
Right.
So, yeah, I think even if you think they make the playoffs, I think there's a chance that he's still gone. I mean, we saw Joe Girardi be 1 game away from the World Series, and he was let go and not brought back. So I don't know that, Cashman might feel a completely different way. We're talking about Heaney, the fact that Heaney is still on this roster. I heard Evan Roberts say it yesterday. Why can't Cashman just take the L? You made a bad trade. He wasn't a good guy to bring in and get rid of him because, that's a roster spot. And whoever it is probably better than him, from AAA, that Boone is forced to go to him because his pen is, so thin. Mm-hmm. So he has to go to him at some points. And, a 2-run game last night. I don't know if, that was the best idea, but he has no choice when his bullpen's that thin.
Mm-hmm.
So Cashman's got to take the L. He's got to get rid of him.
And you got Luis Gil, who was 18 scoreless innings or 14 whatever it was. Guy hasn't allowed a run yet in the MLB, and he's pitching in the minor league still. So I don't get it. I really don't get it.
All right. Quickly before we go to the match, Trevor Bauer's administrative leave has been extended through the end of the regular season. This is a statement from Bauer's co-agents. Today, Mr. Bauer agreed to extend his administrative leave through the playoffs in a measure of good faith and in an effort to minimize any distraction to the Dodgers organization and his teammates. He continues to cooperate with the MLB investigation and refute the baseless allegation against him. Again, by definition, administrative leave is neither a disciplinary action nor does it in any way reflect findings of league's investigation.
Right.
He's a piece of shit. Anyway, That's all I want to say there. He's done. So that's good. The Mets, very quickly, listen, they haven't been playing well. They, started off this stretch against bad teams 6-1. They ended up going 9-5. That's not good enough. So I had said they had to go like 13. I mean, not 13, but, win 10, 11, 12 games against these teams, and they didn't do it. So the Mets playoff chances are very slim right now, although they're only, 4.5, 5 games out. Doesn't matter. It's done at this point. And they're, changes need to be made all throughout, from the top down. They need a big time boss here. They need a Theo Espine. They need a Billy Bean. They need somebody like that. So it might be hard to do, but Steve Cohen's got to open up his wallets and do whatever is necessary.
Right. And I think you need a new manager.
100%.
Yeah, some questionable decisions by the manager this weekend.
The decisions
this weekend. This week.
Unbelievable.
And I watched that Evan Roberts thing, and he really did a good. I was impressed. That took some balls to say that stuff to Rojas. And you could tell Rojas was getting ticked off.
He went right at Rojas.
But he's right. He's right. He's like, why do you he's right. Why trust Edwin Diaz that much? And why say, let's put in Pat Mazeika to pinch hit instead of putting JD Davison, who's been a good hitter for you this year. Pat Mazeika shouldn't even be on the major league roster.
Not good. Not a good week. Not a good season overall from Luis Rojas. The Mets and the Yankees, it's going to be a very emotional 3-game set with the 20th anniversary of 9/11. So I look forward to seeing that. I think the ceremonies that the Mets have planned are going to be really nice. So that's the only thing I'm looking forward to this weekend. But not the baseball. Definitely not the baseball.
Just real quick before we get to our picks, we forgot to mention, the Hall of Fame ceremonies and everything like that.
Yes.
And I watched Jeter's speech and everything like that. And it's just, the Hall of Fame's just so cool. It's just like, I don't know. It has that Field of Dreams feel. Like baseball is just different in that way where I feel like when Jeter was making that speech, I could just feel all the legends and everything like that. And I guess nostalgia and everything. It was really cool. He did a good job with his speech. Shouted out Brian Cashman, which I was impressed at, considering they had some beef.
I heard they hate each other.
Yeah. Well, quick story on that. back when Jeter was getting on later in his career, they were trying to negotiate an extension. And Cashman wasn't offering him what Jeter, he didn't like what Cashman was offering him. So it got to the point where they were arguing, and Jeter was like, name a shortstop who you'd rather have playing for your team right now than me. And Brian Cashman goes, I can name 5. And he literally rattled off 5 names right there.
And he told Jeter, he said, try and go get this contract elsewhere.
Yeah.
And we know the history. He stayed right there.
Right. But obviously great career for Derek Jeter. Probably the most famous Yankee of all time. Maybe one of the most famous baseball players of all time.
100%. I went on the radio. It's actually funny. I went on the radio and I saw somebody at the pizzeria I work at, and he was like, I heard you on the radio and you were talking about Derek Jeter being overrated. And listen, Derek Jeter's Hall of Famer. He's not one of the top, 25, 30, 35, even, I think even 50 players ever to play.
Right.
But there's no denying his career, his playoff accolades, and the person 100%. That he was. He was unbelievable.
Right. Yeah. And that whole overrated thing, I mean, obviously, I don't think he's overrated in terms of what he meant to that team and what he meant to the sport.
Agreed.
And how clutch he was and everything like that. But yeah, when you look at the statistics, you're right. You're not going to be like, oh, this guy's like you said, one of the 25 best players to play the game. No, you're not going to say that. But still, great guy, great player. Obviously has a great spot in my heart, even though I was too young to see the late 90s and 2000 championship, but I did see the 2009 one. And just great baseball player.
Yes. Congratulations to him and his family. Let's get to our picks for the NFL. I have to say this. Gambling is only legal in certain states. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. We are in a state where we can't gamble, so we are giving the picks with the spread, but of course, we are not gambling here.
Just for fun.
Yeah, just for fun here.
And we're going to keep a little standing throughout the season, see which one of us gets more right, kind of for bragging rights. So that'll be fun.
Well, we're going to think of a punishment real soon. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. I can think of one right now. Why don't we just you got to wear a jet hat or something?
I gotta go. Yeah. All right. Fine.
We'll call it with something good.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the picks here quickly. Michael Gallup's going to be out 3 to 5 weeks. He's got a calf strain, and Odell is questionable this week. They still don't know if he's going to be back. All right, let's start off in Buffalo. Steelers at Bills. I'm going to take the Bills minus 6.5.
Agreed. I'm also taking the Bills minus 6.5.
All right, let's move on to Carolina, where the New York Jets will face the Panthers. I am going to take the Panthers minus 3.5.
I'm going to this game, like I said 20 times already, and I'm going Jets plus 3.5. I mean, how could I go into that game predicting a Panthers cover?
Yeah, this was a 5.5 point spread yesterday, so people are really on the Jets here. The Jaguars at the Texans. I'm going to take the Texans plus 3 here.
I'm also taking the Texans plus 3 here. I think, if this game was a little later on the season, maybe different, but
100%.
Trevor Lawrence is making his first start and everything like that. And I think the Texans, are just a more veteran-led team. So I'm going to go with the Texans.
Number 1 overall picks haven't covered in their first game in a while. So I'm going to stick with that trend. Cardinals at Titans. I am going to take the Titans minus 3.
I agree. I'm also taking the Titans minus 3.
They can score and they can run. Philadelphia Eagles, dumpster fire at the Atlanta Falcons. A lot of people are on the Eagles, for the season, for this game. I am not. The Falcons' offense is too good. 3 points is too little. I'm going to take the minus 3.
Agreed. Honestly, I think the line's a bit disrespectful. Considering they're the home team, a minus 3, I would expect that line to be around minus 5 or something like that.
Usually you get 3 points for being the home team.
Yeah. So they're calling this an even matchup. So no, I don't get that. I'm going Falcons minus 3.
It was like 3.5, 4.5 last time I checked. So this is the lowest I've seen it. But yeah. Chargers at football team. No, I'm taking the Chargers plus 1.5. I think the Chargers are going to win this game.
I take the Washington football team minus 1.5.
Okay, there we go. The Lions are traveling to Detroit. I am going to take
you mean the Niners.
There we go.
The Lions.
There we go.
The Lions playing Detroit.
The Niners, the San Francisco 49ers are going to Detroit. I'm going to take the Niners a -8.5.
I agree. I think they're going to run the crap out of the ball, the Niners. I could see this being a close game just because of that, but the Lions are going to be pretty bad this year. I am also taking the Niners -8.5.
Lions are terrible. The Seattle Seahawks are traveling to Indianapolis. The Seahawks are very good coming to the East Coast. One of the best teams that have to fly to the East Coast and play. I'm taking the Seahawks -3.
Look at you with all these advanced stats. I am taking the Colts +3 at home.
There you go. Carson Wentz is playing, like we said before. Minnesota Vikings will travel to Cincinnati. I'm going to take the Vikings -3 here.
Agreed. Vikings -3.
I'm actually going to confirm that and saying that's my lock of the week. The Dolphins are going to New England. I'm going to take the New England Patriots -3.
I am taking the Miami Dolphins +3.
You think they win the game?
Yes.
Okay. The Browns travel to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. This line, it's 5.5. If it was 6.5 or even 7.5, I would take the Browns. I'm not. I'm going to, this line, 5.5 is, a little difference. I'm going to take the Chiefs -5.5.
I am going with the Cleveland Browns +5.5.
There you go. Definitely going to have this punishment I'm excited for. The Broncos are coming to East Rutherford to take on the New York Giants. I'm taking the Broncos -3 here.
I am going with the New York Giants +3. I think this is going to be a really close game. I just don't see a situation where the Broncos, I could see them winning by 4 or 5 points, but not much more than that.
There you go. You like my Giants. Actually, I lie. This is my lock of the week. The Packers at the Saints. I think the Packers are going to steamroll them. Yeah, that's -3.5. I'm going to take the Packers -3.5.
I'm also going, I don't know about steamroll them, but I'm also going Packers -3.5.
The Bears will take on the Rams in LA. I'm taking the Rams -7.5. Blowout.
Agreed. Bears suck. Really not high on the Bears this year. I'm going Rams -7.5.
And the Ravens will take on the Las Vegas Raiders on Monday night. I'm going to, it's 3.5, and I'm actually going to take the Raiders. I'm going to go Raiders +3.5.
Yeah, this is a tough game. I would definitely stay away from this game if I was, like some sort of pool or anything. Not encouraging gambling at all here.
No.
Of course not. Of course not. So I'm going to go Ravens -3.5. It's like I said, it's a little shaky about that because of all these injuries, but I'm going to take the Ravens.
And that will do it for our picks this week. So yeah, we're thinking of a punishment. We're going to keep track of everything. I have to write this down because I'm going to forget who I took.
Yeah. Oh, I wrote my picks down. Don't worry. I'll send them to you.
All right. Sounds good. So that's going to do it for episode 30. This is 31 or 32? 32. I'm forgetting things already. Enjoy the weekend. This is going to be a really good weekend. Football is back. There's some pretty good college games as well. So definitely enjoy the weekend, and we will talk to you next week.
Can't wait.